One second, he was slicing steak in slow motion, rubbing elbows with celebrities and bragging about $100,000 dinners. The next, he's banned from global events, his restaurants are shutting down, and his fame has curdled into cringe. But how does someone go from internet icon to international embarrassment? This isn't just the fall of Salt Bae. It's a story about what happens when ego, exploitation, and illusion collide, all behind a 24-karat gold-coated steak. And trust me, what was happening off camera? It's way worse than you think. On January 7th, 2017, a man in a tight white t-shirt and dark sunglasses posted a clip of himself slicing steak and sprinkling salt in the most dramatic way possible, letting it fall from his fingers like he was casting a spell. The internet ate it up. Within hours, he wasn't just a chef anymore, he was the meme. Salt Bae had arrived. People dressed up as him for Halloween. Athletes mimicked his move after scoring. He was parodied on national TV, celebrated on Twitter, and instantly recognizable worldwide. It didn't matter if you'd eaten at his restaurant, you knew the pose and you knew the man. And Salt Bae knew exactly how to capitalize on that fame. Before the month was even over, he announced luxury restaurants opening in New York and London. The prices were insane. The food? Secondary. What people really wanted was the experience. But while the world was focused on the sprinkle, no one asked, was the steak even good? You'd think a steak that costs $1,800, coated in 24-karat gold, would taste like heaven. But according to hundreds of reviews, it barely tasted like food. Salt Bae's restaurants were more like luxury showrooms than actual dining spots. $100 burgers, $25 desserts, $10 cans of Red Bull. It wasn't about flavor. It was about flexing. And it worked. At first, people lined up just for a chance to see him perform. The slicing, the salting, the posing. It was dinner and a show. But once the novelty wore off, the truth came out. His London steakhouse ranked among the bottom 33% of all restaurants in the city. Bad food at crazy prices, one review said. Biggest scam ever, said another. Rubbery meat, undercooked dishes, slow service, rude staff. The list went on. His New York burger joint, flat out called the worst restaurant in the entire city. Critics described the food as bland, tough, and low on flavor. One even compared the steak to shoe leather. You'd think with feedback that brutal, he'd make changes. He didn't. Instead, Salt Bae doubled down, and the food took a backseat to something far more important to him: the performance. Salt Bae didn't just believe the hype, he became it. Instead of improving the food or fixing the service, he leaned harder into his persona. The chef act slowly faded, and what took its place was a full-blown performance. His Instagram turned into a highlight reel of shirtless flexing, designer suits, slow-mo struts, and staged moments with celebrities. He wasn't running a restaurant anymore. He was curating a lifestyle brand built entirely around himself. He posted receipts showing customers dropping over $100,000 on a single meal, not as appreciation but as trophies. He posed like a runway model in the dining room, and he started referring to himself as an idol, saying things like, "Now every kid wants to be Salt Bae. People see me as an inspiration." But the more he talked, the more detached he seemed from the very thing that made him famous in the first place, a simple passion for food. And while the cameras kept rolling and the followers kept coming, the cracks were forming behind the scenes. Then came the fire. In 2018, Salt Bae tried to turn dinner into a fire show, literally. At one of his restaurants, a stunt meant to wow guests with fire went horribly wrong. Flames spiraled out of control, injuring 4 people, including Czech internet personality Tinush Treshnichkova. She suffered third-degree burns over 35% of her body and spent months in the hospital. Her appearance was permanently altered. Her life was changed forever. And Salt Bae said nothing. No statement, no apology. He just kept posting like it never happened, as if ignoring the fire would somehow erase it. The media ran the story. Fans called him out. But Salt Bae didn't flinch. And while one part of his empire was literally burning, he was preparing for something even more tone-deaf: dinner with a dictator. While much of Venezuela was starving, Salt Bae was busy serving steak to the man many blamed for it. In September 2018, the same month as the fire incident, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife dined at Salt Bae's Istanbul restaurant. It wasn't just a quiet meal. It was a full-blown performance. Cigars, gold-plated meat, laughter, and Salt Bae personally slicing their food table side. He proudly posted videos online, bragging about the visit like it was just another celebrity cameo. But back in Venezuela, things were dire. Over 60% of the population was experiencing hunger. People were losing weight due to food shortages. Malnutrition was skyrocketing. So, when the videos went viral, the backlash was instant and brutal. Protests broke out in front of Salt Bae's restaurants in Miami and New York. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio called Maduro a fat dictator and slammed Salt Bae for glorifying him. Even Maduro's own citizens called the dinner an insult to their suffering. Eventually, Salt Bae deleted the videos. But in true fashion, he never apologized. Because for him, the performance always came first. But this wasn't just about poor judgment. Behind the scenes, something much darker was happening, not to the guests, but to the people working for him. While Salt Bae posed with gold steaks and celebrities, his workers were living a nightmare. In April 2023, a Business Insider investigation exposed what many insiders had been whispering for years. Behind the marble walls and velvet ropes was an empire built on fear, control, and exploitation. Former staff described him as a petty tyrant, obsessed with image and fame. Mistakes, even tiny ones, could cost someone their job. Break a glass? Fired. Wear the wrong shirt? Fired. Complain about your paycheck? Gone. One bartender in London said working there felt like being in the Hunger Games. Another compared Salt Bae directly to a dictator. But that was just the start. Employees were allegedly forced to fake lines outside the restaurant to make it look busy, sleep overnight in the restaurant during lockdowns, work unpaid overtime, with zero complaints allowed. Worse yet, tip theft was rampant. Lawsuits claimed that management skimmed 3% off all tips, or withheld them entirely when celebrities were dining. One 19-year-old food runner had $140 docked from her pay for delivering steak to the wrong table. Another lost $800 in tips because a customer walked out without paying, as if she was supposed to chase them down. And for women, it got even darker. A female bartender said she was told to wear a short skirt, heels, and a revealing top on her first day. When she pushed back, she was harassed, then fired. Another woman was allegedly denied a promotion because Salt Bae didn't find her attractive enough. Even the customers were being misled. Employees were ordered to lie about the quality of cuts, pour leftover wine into new glasses, and falsely label non-halal meat as halal, just to boost profits. Everything was about appearance, image, status. But Salt Bae wasn't done chasing attention yet, because soon he would pull off one of the most cringe-worthy stunts of his entire career, on the world's biggest stage. December 18, 2022. Argentina had just won the FIFA World Cup in one of the most emotional, hard-fought matches in history. Players were crying, fans were celebrating, Lionel Messi was living the moment of a lifetime. And then, out of nowhere, Salt Bae crashed the field, uninvited, unauthorized. He pushed through security, grabbed Messi by the arm twice, and begged for a photo while Messi awkwardly tried to walk away. Then, as if that wasn't enough, Salt Bae picked up the actual World Cup trophy, posed with it like he was part of the team, and started snapping selfies. He even kissed it. The backlash was instant. Social media lit up with rage and secondhand embarrassment. What does this guy even have to do with football? This is clout chasing at its peak. He ruined the moment. It wasn't just fans. FIFA launched a full investigation into how he even got on the field, and shortly after, they banned him from all future events. That ban held. In June 2025, Salt Bae was publicly kicked out of the UEFA Champions League after-party for trying to sneak in uninvited. He claimed he was only there to sign autographs for fans, but no one was buying it. The viral fame that once opened every door was now slamming them shut in his face. But the final blow wasn't scandalous. It was quiet. There was no dramatic exit, no final viral moment. Salt Bae didn't go out with a bang. He just faded. His U.S. steakhouses closed. His London restaurant, profits down by over 50%. Even his Dubai location, once his crown jewel, is struggling. Online, it's the same story. His follower count is shrinking. Engagements dried up. The posts that once went viral are now barely noticed. No scandals, no new headlines, just silence. He had the recipe for something lasting. A humble origin, a viral moment, a global audience. With just a bit of patience, he could have built a legacy like Gordon Ramsay. a true culinary icon. But he chose flash over flavor. And when the spotlight moved on, there was nothing left to see. Salt Bae didn't get canceled. He just got forgotten.